Okay, peeps, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the grayscale trusts. So with that being said, let's get it. All right, so as you guys can see on the Litecoin chart, we do actually have what looks to be like a red candle poking down below support. Again, that is not great, but we do still have 3 trading days left. And do keep in mind, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the FOMC meeting is also this week. And I believe CPI is also this week. I'll have to double check on that, but I'm pretty sure it is. So that could potentially reverse the entire market to the upside, meaning that basically the Fed comes out dovish in whatever aspect they do, and then the market's ripped to the upside. But we'll just have to wait and see on that. So as for right now on the charts, we do have a red candle below. If it closes below, I would say likely this thing is going to head to somewhere between the trend line and the EMAs. So probably look at a target of about $17 to $18. And again, the swing high we're looking for is up here at $54. So if I were just to measure it from the trend line, and I did tell you guys this last time that this was a possibility. So from the trend line to the target, it would be about 212%. So I'm going to reiterate what I said one more time, is that if this does not get a breakout as support above the trend line, likely what we see is something like this. Or maybe even something like, say, like this, kind of comes back up, bobs around a little bit, kind of does a little of that, and then boom, takes off. That could always be a possibility too. So let me go ahead and get rid of this real quick. I don't know why it's not wanting to. Sorry, hold on a sec, guys. I don't usually use the squiggly line drawing tool on here. So now I'm going to go down to the daily. I actually want to show you guys something on the daily. So you can see we do actually have a daily close below the support zone. It's the first time we've had one in a very long time. You can see it broke out back here on March 25th, retested here on May 7th, and as of right now, we have a confirmation below. But again, we're kind of looking for confirmation on the weekly, not necessarily the daily. With the MACD, we are in the bear zone, kind of below the break-even level here. That is bear territory. However, the RSI is almost oversold, and if I show you guys the last 2 times that this thing was oversold, well, it wasn't really oversold back here, but it was oversold here and here. You guys can see that each time this happened, this thing absolutely ripped to the upside. So back here we did a 2x, and on this one, to let's just say this little wick high right here, we did roughly about a 50% gain. But if I were to go from oversold to overbought, this was a 2x, and then this all the way up to roughly right about here was almost a 5x. So pretty good returns. That's just something to keep in mind. So basically, this could potentially be an early sign that there is a reversal to the upside coming. No guarantees, though. It just gives us a probability of what might happen. So again, MACDs are in the bear. MACD for BCHG is in the bear territory. Do keep that in mind. We do have a MACD death cross on the weekly. So there is the potential here for some really, really juicy dip buying opportunities, not too far off of the future. Of course, these things could always just go back up. That's a possibility. So BCHG is still below the trend line. As at this point, I would say the support is going to be basically around 10 to wherever the trend line is. So in this case, about 1250. Target we're still looking for here is up at $24 or $23.50. If I was going to get into this, I would just simply get in now and just add to it as it was dropping, if it does drop. So 120% move here. But that's not financial advice. You guys can do what you want to with your own money. So the next support would be down between 7 to 760. And of course, you have this trend line down here. We'll talk about that if it ever gets to that. So HSN, we're still retesting this trend line. I would say, this is as good of an entry signal as possible at this point. It could always go lower, but it needs to get through the support to do so. So support again, 380 to about 416, and 680 to $8, and then you have roughly about 10.5 all the way at the top. So from the current price to the swing high, 144% move. ETCG, we do actually have kind of a breakdown going on right here. So what I suspect is going to happen if this thing does keep pushing down like this and it doesn't have an immediate reversal back above the trend line is likely we're going to come down and test $11. So that would be the next potential support area. Below that, maybe like 950, but again, it needs to get below this channel to actually retest anything below that. I don't think it's going to do that, but time will tell. So from basically the current price to the high up here, which is $19, it would be about a 58% move. If I were to measure from the bottom of the channel to the top, you'd be talking about 72%. So ETHE is not really doing much. Again, you guys I'll show this one more time. So we have a cup and handle pattern with a confirmed breakout. The ultimate target is $168. How it gets there, how long it takes to get there, what the chart looks like, that's anybody's guess, but that's basically what the target would be. So this one is still in the bull territory. As you guys can see, the EMAs are still pointing up. But the price is just kind of moving sideways. Again, I think it's because they're waiting for the listings and the actual trading of the spot Ether ETFs, which we have not seen yet. So I would basically just say at this point, if it does pull back, maybe look for an entry somewhere around 29. I don't know that it's necessarily going to pull back all the way to 25 because again, the spot Ether ETFs have not even started trading yet. So if it does have a pullback, it might be pretty shallow, would be my guess. So just from there to the top of this resistance zone, you guys can see here would be about 67% move. You guys can see that the previous peak was back there in November 2021. We're a little bit higher in 2019, but in the bull market last time, that's pretty much where the target was about basically where the Fibonacci is right now, $48. So Filgy, actually can get rid of these real quick. So still no confirmed move. So we have this swing down like a lower high here, and then the question is what next? Well, we don't know yet. We have no idea what's going on yet. You guys can see that this white line here basically is for the inverse head and shoulders, if that's what this is. So you have a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then this would be the target all the way up here at 590. So yeah, it's kind of just stuck in no man's land. Me personally, looking at this one, I would not touch this at this point. I'd probably wait for a swing down to get a more long-term position. And if I was just looking for to make some profit, I'd look for a breakout above this trend line to then swing up to this target. But as of right now, so if I were to measure this from the current price to the previous swing high, 310%, and then to the inverse head and shoulders target is about 518%. GBAT, this thing, once again, is not really doing much of anything. It's actually, it almost kind of looks like a bull flag, if I'm not mistaken. It's, it's pretty clear that could potentially be a bull flag. So if I were to go ahead and measure this as a bull flag, and from the breakout of the channel, the target would be all the way up at $44.43, which again is actually a new all-time high for this particular trust. So once again, the trend line would be right about where the support should be, so roughly about $10. If I just measure it from the current price to, let's say, the swing high, it's 116% move. But if I were to wait for a pullback and you get a run up all the way to the swing high, it's about 245% move. So GLIV, this one is, well, I mean, it's above the trend line. We do have a hammer candle here in the previous week. Like I said, that's a very bullish candle. There's been a few times on this one that I think maybe it's not this one. I don't know. Let me pull up LTCN because I think, well, you know what? No, I'm not going to do LTCN. I know what to do here. So Bitcoin, this is a pretty good example. As you guys can see, we got a hammer candle here. What happened? It ripped, hammer candle, ripped, hammer candle right here, ripped, another hammer candle right here, ripped, although it was a smaller amount. So you guys kind of get the picture on what usually happens with hammer candles. So I do actually suspect GLIV to go up, but again, time will tell. So if this thing does pull back, just so y'all know, if it pulls back, you'd be looking at about $26.30, and the swing high is all the way up to about $82, so 211% gain. G-Link, this thing is doing a whole lot of nothing, just moving sideways. So this one I would not touch because I'm just not. I couldn't be sure of what direction it's going to move. But from the current price to the swing high, which is 220, 94% gain, and the pullback target would be roughly about, I'd say about $84, all the way to the swing high is about 164% move. GSOL, this one is getting back below the white support trend line here, as you guys can see. That's not great. If it gets a full close below that trend line on the weekly, I suspect it might bounce at maybe 338, maybe. If it doesn't bounce at 338, it's probably coming back straight into the support at 165 to 204. So we'll just measure the potential pullback targets. So from the first target to the top, which is 590, is about a 76% move. Let's say it gets to the top of the support. Up to the swing high, about 188% move. GXLM, it's getting pretty close to that upward trend line support. So again, that support is roughly about $32. If we measure that from the support area to the swing high, it's about 120% move. And again, the swing high is $69. So Mana, this one does maybe look like it wants to come back down to test the support zone. We'll just have to wait and see on this. I mean, we do have some kind of wicks to the upside here. That's pretty bearish, if you ask me. So if it does come back, it'll probably test somewhere between, I'd say, about $17.70 to $20. I think likely it's probably going to stop at 20. That's just my opinion. So again, the all-time high up here is $70, and that would be a 252% move. Zcash. So this one's finally in the buy zone. It took forever. It was just kind of chopping around, sideways, up, down a little bit, but now it's finally back in that same zone. So again, that zone is between 440 to 510, and the swing high up here is 1020. So from the current price to the swing high, you'd be looking at about 122% move. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.